All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? It feels like Thursday for some reason. Does it feel like Thursday or is it just me? It's just me? I'm crazy? No? Yeah, I couldn't figure out yesterday I couldn't figure out what day it was at all. I kept saying tomorrow was Thursday and then I don't know, I was all over the place. Okay. Let's Muted. Okay. So we can kind of move on, I think, from this. Again, I think it's a useful exercise to be able to figure out people's arguments, evaluate them, and just see, who has the better approach here, right? Who has a better point to make, right? And yeah. Okay. So switching gears just a little bit here, we said that we were going to talk about sexism in this unit, and we were going to talk about it in terms of how sexism is kind of created and also maintained by social messages that kind of circulate around in popular culture. Okay, and the first place I want to have a look at is advertising. Okay, so I've got some statistics on the screen here. I'm fairly certain they're all wrong at this point. I think kids probably spend more than 11 hours a day on their phones, right? 88% of American teens have mobile phones. I think that's probably about 104% at this point. 56% of teens go online several times a day. People are always online, right? So I think those percentages now are quite low. But keep in mind how powerful ads and advertising and other kinds of media can be, right? You're in class for 6 hours a day, roughly half the year, and then you're getting far more messaging through other kinds of media, right? And so should we pay attention to what we teach kids in school? Sure. But should we also pay attention to what kind of things are being learned through media? Absolutely, because media is probably the bigger socializing force here. So I don't know about you. What do you think? Are you affected by advertising? Do you see ads for things, then you're like, oh, I want that. Whether it's food, fancy clothes.
So when you hungry and you see McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Or like pizza, when they, take it out of the pan and the cheese is stretching out. Oh, so good, right? Advertising is a very powerful science and art, but also science, right? So advertising and marketing, they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars every year, not only advertising to us, but figuring out how to best do it, right? How to convince people that they need the thing that they need, right? How to sort of make them want things that they don't need, but advertisers want us to want, right? How do we do that? And again, marketers and advertisers are very sophisticated. They understand the human brain. They understand how it works, and they're very good at trying to manipulate it, right? And so that's kind of one thing, and we won't deal with manipulation by advertisers. But what I want to point out to you is that in the process of doing that, in the process of selling to us, often advertisers have a way of perpetuating or kind of using over and over again stereotypes about men and women and about gender, okay? And I'll point this out again, but the reason that this kind of happens is that I'll get to that later. Let's look at some products that are gendered, okay? Products that are gendered. So, whose toys are these? Yeah, they're kids' toys, but more specifically, they're boys' toys, right? And I know, yes, girls can play with them too, and sometimes do, but these toys are marketed toward boys, right? These are usually toys that we see boys play with. If we see a commercial, if you're watching cartoons in the morning and you see a television commercial for toys like this, you'll usually see boys playing with them, banging them together as they fight it out, But the question I have for you is not so much about the advertising or the selling, but about the messages that these toys embody. What are these toys kind of teaching young boys about the world and about themselves? What kind of messages are hidden in these toys. So what do you think? What do you notice about these toys? What do these toys say about boys or about men?
Boys need to be cool.
Boys need to be cool, okay. Define cool, and what about these toys makes you say that? What does cool mean in this case? Because girls should be cool too, but I think girl cool is different from guy cool. What kind of messages are being transmitted here? To be what? To be brave? Okay. What makes you, what about these toys makes you think that? Right. Okay, so there's okay, so we see a police car there. Police definitely have to be brave, right? What else do we see? Chen, what were you saying? I missed that.
Guns.
Oh, there's a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of guns,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's the sense of brave.
Okay. Well, it's true, right? You go down the toy aisle, you know, for boys, and you see all kinds of weapons, right? There's machine guns, there's water guns, there's swords and axes and bows and arrows and lightsabers and all kinds of things, right? It's quite the arsenal in the in the toy aisle, right? So that's true, right? There's a lot of weaponry, right? And so what is that kind of associated with? Associated with violence, right? Associated with combat, right? Associated with conflict, right? What else do we see here? Bravery is definitely there. What else? What other messages might boys learn from toys like this? What else might they learn?
They need to be a hero.
Yeah, right. So, okay, what does it mean to be a hero? What does it mean?
It's also a connection with brave.
Okay, so there's yeah. So what does it mean to be brave, to be heroic? What are you being like? Are you doing dangerous things? Right? So yeah, or and maybe if it's even not superpower, maybe it's just like strength, right? You're doing dangerous things. There's strength being transmitted here. Look at those three guys. They're all ripped, right? Captain America, lots of muscles. Hawkeye, lots of muscles. Even Groot has lots of muscles, and he's a tree. Right? The guy's a tree, and he's ripped. So yeah, there's strength, there's bravery, there's danger. There's lots of weaponry. There's images of violence, right? What's Captain America going to do? Is he going to go and talk to the bad guy and say, "Are you sure you really want to do this? Isn't there a better way?" Or is he going to bop him in the face with his shield, right? So there's a lot of violence, a lot of conflict, a lot of strength, danger, all of these things. There's one more thing that I'd like to point out, but I'd like you to see it. And I see it when I see the police car and the construction equipment and the little Lego military thing. What kind of message is coming through there?
Tough work.
Tough work? Physical work? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, what?
Color.
Color?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's kind of manly colors happening here, right? True. What else? Okay. So we're seeing we're seeing the world of work. We're seeing physical professions. We're seeing sorry, Anna, what did you say?
Profession.
Okay, professions, yeah. Um, what is it about these professions that is kind of different or worth paying attention to? Okay. All of them have an element of danger. Certainly the police and the military do, and even construction work can be dangerous, right? Sometimes. Hopefully not, but sometimes. One of the things that's going on in these three in terms of profession is, yes, it's the world of work, right? It's a very kind of physical world. Sometimes it's dangerous, but it's also the idea, and this is a fancy word, you can use it if you want to sound smart, and the fancy word is agency. Okay? So when someone has agency, they have kind of the ability to do something. They have the ability to kind of go out and make things happen. To go out and kind of like affect the world somehow, right? And so all of these professions, I think, they have a lot of agency, right? The police are out there catching the bad guys, protecting innocent citizens, throwing people in jail, right? They're able to go out there and do things in the world. The army as well, right? The army's out there hopefully protecting us, maybe fighting a war, killing the bad guys, doing things, right? Having an effect on the world. Construction as well, right? You're out there moving dirt, building buildings or whatever, changing the world. There's a lot of agency happening there, right? So, yeah, all of these messages are kind of mixed into these toys. The conflict, the violence, the agency, the strength, also the bravery and the heroism, right? Those are in there as well. But boys are kind of getting all these messages about what they should be, right? And they're getting them through their toys, but also through some of the media they consume, right? Movies and comic books and animated shows and things like that, right? But let's look at the other gender. Let's look at girls. So again, I think we would probably all identify these as girls' toys, right? Of course, boys can play with them too, but stereotypically speaking, these are girls' toys. And I ask you, what kind of messages or things are girls learning from their toys? Yeah, so we're seeing messages about how girls should cook, right? So we've got a whole kitchen assembly there, kind of cute, and makeup is apparently important, right? This young girl is in front of her makeup table right there. What else do we see? What other messages? Anna, what do you see? Everything is what? Pink. Everything is pink, right? Little girls love pink and purple, but mostly pink, right? Yeah, very, very pink, very girly. What else? What else do we see? What's that? Oh, sweet food, right? Girls do like their sweet foods stereotypically, although also guilty. But yeah, she has a whole little ice cream stand, right? Interesting. What else? What else might girls be learning or absorbing from these toys? What's happening here? Yeah, right? She's this little girl, whoever this toy goes to, she's going to be learning how to take care of a baby, right? You have to wash the baby. You have to feed the baby. You have to change the baby. You have to burp the baby, right? You have to do all these things. But I ask you, how old of a child do you think that toy is made for? Maybe, yeah, 4 or 5. So these kids are barely, they're still babies themselves, right? These little girls are still babies, and they're actually being taught how to care for them, right? Anything else? What else do we see here? Chloe, what do you see?
Something feminine.
What's that?
Something feminine.
Yes, but what does feminine mean? Because that's the whole point, right? These toys are helping to teach these girls what it means to be a girl, what femininity actually is. So what is it?
Not doing something dangerous.
Well, what?
Not doing something dangerous.
Okay, there's definitely no danger implied here, right? You've got a sweet little baby in a tub. You've got ice cream and makeup. Yeah, maybe you could burn yourself in the kitchen, right? But no danger, right? This is a very safe set of activities, right? What about Barbie? What's the deal with Barbie?
Maybe hairstyles. Like good grades.
Say that one more time.
Maybe for good grades, like hairstyles.
Oh yeah, okay. So Barbie is good for hairstyles. What else? Fashion, right? Barbie, there's, I don't know how many different versions of Barbie have been marketed over the past, I don't know, I think she's like 70 years old or something like that. Barbie's been around for a long time. There's been many versions of Barbie, and many of them have to do with her occupation, right? So depending on what she's doing, depending on the job she has a different wardrobe, right? She has different clothes. And so do you think girls are being taught about the importance of fashion and clothing and hairstyle and makeup? Yeah, right. In general appearance, right? There's a lot of focus on these girls' appearance, right? And look at this little girl at the makeup table. She looks like she's ready to go to a wedding, maybe her wedding. Way too early. Way too early. But she's all dressed up in a really pretty dress, right? And she's got a nice bow in her hair. She's got her little makeup stand, right? She's got Barbies that she practices dressing and putting in various fashions. But there's not really a lot of focus on men's appearance here, is there? Not really. Maybe the fact that the superheroes are all ripped, right? Maybe there's the muscular part of it. But other than that, there's kind of a lot more focus on appearance here, how you look, right? But also, again, they're getting messages about what their job is. Men are going out there, doing things in the world, maybe dangerous things, protecting the public, shooting the bad guys, right? Doing these kinds of things. Girls are getting messages about, well, you'll probably be staying at home, be looking after the baby, putting on your makeup, cooking in the kitchen, right? Very kind of traditional ideas, right? And again, I know that, women don't belong in the kitchen, and women can do all of these jobs just like men can. I know that, you know that, but toys often communicate these kind of cultural stereotypes or traditions anyway, and kids absorb them, right? Kids are very good at understanding, oh, I'm a girl, and that means this is girl stuff, right? They very quickly learn and identify with those things. Part of the reason why in the T word, some of those kids realize that, oh, my gender identity doesn't match with my physical body, right? Everybody is pushing little baby dolls and makeup sets and kitchens and Barbies at me, but really I just want to play with trucks and shoot guns, or the other way around, right? So kids very quickly start to absorb these messages, right? They're little sponges. And so we start to kind of teach them gender at a very young age. And again, when we did the alien assignment, part of the reason why it was difficult to identify the rules for being your gender is because you've been absorbing them for your entire life. And they don't feel like rules, they just feel like the natural way of things, right? The rule is that men don't wear dresses in my society, right? That's kind of the rule. Do I ever think about, oh, maybe I'd like to wear a dress? No. right? I'd never want to wear a dress. I feel like I would feel very uncomfortable and very weird, and I just don't want to do it. But the only reason I feel that way is because I've been socialized that way. I've been taught that, right? And so it feels natural. It feels like it's coming from in here. I would never want to wear a dress. But really, it came from out there, right? Little baby Mike didn't know that, right? Society taught little baby Mike that he shouldn't wear dresses, that's weird. And so now I feel that, yeah, I shouldn't wear dresses, that's weird. But that feeling doesn't come from in here, it comes from outside, right? I've been successfully socialized. Let's look at food. Food is also gendered. And again, I know that both genders or all genders can eat any kind of food they want, but is this kind of girl food or guy food? It's kind of girl food. What's girly about this food? How is this food associated with women? There's fruit? Did you say strawberries, Arena?
Yeah, like strawberry.
Okay. So there's a little bit of the sweetness there, right? Girls are supposed to like sweet things, apparently, although I also do. What else is kind of girly or womanly about this? There's some... What's that? Go ahead.
Maybe not strong alcohol.
Oh, okay. So there's some alcoholic drinks here, but they're not strong, right? Do you know what those are? No, they're what? Yeah, those are appletinis. So they've got an apple on there. They've got some apple liqueur and probably some vodka. They're kind of fruity, you know, kind of fun, kind of sweet, you know. They're kind of soft drinks, right? They're not hard alcohol. What about this? Pardon me. What about the salad? Why are salads associated with women? Because of the strawberries? Maybe. Because of what, David? It's wholesome. Yeah, it's healthy. Why would women be interested in being healthy? To be? Yeah, to be skinny, right? We said there's a lot of focus on women's appearance, right? On women's bodies. And we saw here it starts even in childhood, right? Where we're teaching girls that they have to wear makeup and they have to look pretty. And part of looking pretty is maintaining a healthy weight. And so often health foods, salads, things like that, they're often more associated with women, right? The yogurt, if you see a yogurt commercial on TV, 99 times out of 100, it's a woman in the commercial, right? I don't know why. Many yogurt do, but it's always a woman trying to sell you yogurt, right? And then there's also a thing about women and chocolate. Do you know the thing about women and chocolate? It's sweet. It's kind of a stereotypical idea. Women like their chocolate. If they're feeling bad, they have chocolate. So chocolate and cake is often associated with women. But what about, I'm going to move my head here. Woo! What about these? Are these women's foods or men's foods? These are some manly foods, are they not? Oh yeah. How do we know these are what makes these foods manly? The beer, right? Beer is a very manly drink. Of course, women drink it too, but what?
I don't know what's that.
You don't know what this is? Whiskey, right? Straight whiskey on the rocks, on ice, a very manly drink. Bosco's like, no, thank you.
Very good.
Oh, very good. Okay. Okay. What about bacon? Very manly. What about this one up here? Yeah, the barbecue and also the meat, right? Meat is a very masculine, manly thing to eat. Meat and beer and whiskey, right? While the women are eating their salads and yogurt. chocolate cake with an appletini, right? And again, all of this is very, stereotypical. Both men and women eat and drink all of these things, of course, but certain foods are kind of associated more with one gender or another, right? And so if you see a movie or a television show where a guy orders an appletini at a bar, what's usually the effect of that? What's that?
If someone ordered you the apple,
Yeah.
that one is like they suffers with this.
Yeah, there's some humor around it, right? Yeah, if a bunch of guys go out to have a drink and everyone sits down and one of the guys is like, I'll have an appletini, please. All of his guy friends are going to look at him and like, dude, what are you doing? That's a girl drink, right? So it becomes funny, right? When guys drink appletinis, it becomes kind of funny. But sometimes the same thing happens with whiskey, right? What if we see a movie or a television show and the woman's got a whiskey and she's like, she's a badass, right? Yeah, that's really interesting though, isn't it? Isn't it? So the man can order a woman's drink and he gets ridiculed for it, right? It's humor, it's humorous. But then the woman orders the manly drink, but it's not humorous, right? She's like, oh, she's tough, right? She's a tough chick. Interesting, right? Very interesting. Have a look at, we'll come back to that. Press pause on that. The gendered products follow us into the bathroom as well, right? Which, left or right, which side are the woman's products? Left. How do you know that? How do you know these are women's products? Color, right? So again, we've got, just like we had before, we have lots of pink, and it follows us all the way into adulthood with a pink loofah for washing yourself in the shower, and lots of pink on the shampoo bottle, smooth and silky, right?
That's why I use that.
You use smooth and silky too?
Yes.
What's it smell like?
It's really good.
It's really good?
It's really good.
Yeah, so again, actually I used to have a pink loofah just like that. Yeah? I think I got them from like Shoppers Drug Mart or something, and they have like pink and orange and purple and maybe like light blue.
Do they got yellow?
No, I don't think there was any yellow. The one I have now is actually dark gray, which is the manliest one I've ever had. But usually I've had like pink or orange or purple or something. But yeah, these are very girly, right? They're very feminine. The shampoo probably smells flowery and like a meadow kind of thing. But then look at the same products marketed to men, right? Look at that shampoo bottle, right? Color again, right? Dark blue, no nonsense, right? The Head and Shoulders has flowers and all kinds of things. This is like Suave, Men, 2-in-1. Shampoo, the end, right? There's no drama, there's no excitement. It's very like, right? And do you think it smells like flowers and like a meadow? No. Probably smells like manly, right? What are manly smells?
Sharp.
Sharp,
Mint.
mint, kind of like, yeah, they all have names like Ocean Fury, right? Or Sandalwood, toughness or something. They're all like trying to make a smell that sounds manly, right? Whatever they smell like, I don't know. And look at this thing here. That's a thing that Axe has created. It's the same as this, but it looks like a truck tire, right? So it's got this big rubber thing, and then it's got like a scrubby part in the middle, so you can scrub yourself in the shower. So again, men can't use that, right? Because this thing is pink and fluffy and frilly, right? We need something that's tough and rough because we're men and we're tough and rough, right? Kind of ridiculous, but still, these products are gendered, right? Last thing I'll show you today is these two. You can't advertise cigarettes anymore in Canada. It's not legal, so you won't see this really anywhere. But you used to see it in magazines. I used to see it everywhere all the time because cigarette companies would advertise to you. So here we have two. Oh, actually, it's not a bad. Where should I be? Okay, I'll just sit down here. Here we have two magazine ads for cigarettes. One clearly marketed to men and one clearly marketed to women. What's the message over here for the men's cigarette? What kind of messages are we meant to receive? Be cool? What does cool mean here? How is this guy cool? How is this guy cool? What's that? How he's sitting? Yeah, okay, so he's kind of leaning in a very casual way. Smoking, right? Smoking is pretty cool in the movies. It's not cool in real life. It's very bad for you. But in the movies, it's very cool, right? So he looks like he's looking cool, smoking his cigarette. Got a leather jacket. Leather jackets are cool and tough. Oh yeah, he's on an old vintage motorcycle. He's out in nature. What's that? Yeah, maybe it's a Harley Davidson. Probably is actually an old vintage one. He's cool. He's rugged. He's out in nature. He's tough, right? Camel, where a man belongs. Very manly. But what's going on over here? What's going on the right here? According to the theory of evolution, men evolved with fat, stubby fingers. That's offensive. We evolved with fat, stubby fingers, and women evolved with long, slim fingers. Therefore, according to the theory of logic, women should smoke long, slim cigarettes designed just for them. And that's the theory of slimness. So, what kind of messages are we meant to receive from this ad? What's this ad trying to convince us of, or what messages is it giving out?
For women, if you smoke, it's slim.
Yeah, they're not saying that directly, but they're definitely implying it, aren't they? Right? The cigarettes are slim, your fingers are slim, and if you smoke this cigarette, you too will be slim. Which there's a little bit of truth to that because the nicotine is an appetite suppressant, and so people tend to eat less when they smoke. But of course, smoking is really bad for you. Don't do it. But yeah, so again, that focus on women's appearance, right? Women's bodies, they're expected to be slim. That's why they're eating all those salads and yogurt from 2 slides ago. And here they are smoking because smoking is cool, at least in the movies. But here they're going to smoke slim, refined cigarettes. They're not tough and rugged like men. They are slim and elegant like women, right? And look at this woman here. Clearly very slim, right? But also dressed up very nice, right? She looks like she's going to go out for a night on the town. She's got her earrings and her jewelry and her fancy frilly dress, right? And her very elegant cigarettes as well. Right? So again, we're seeing this kind of interesting thing where men and women are marketed a very similar product, but in very different ways, right? And do you think there's a lot of difference between these two types of cigarettes? Probably not. Cigarettes are kind of cigarettes. I know there's a few different varieties of them. These are long and slim. These are shorter and thicker. They're both cigarettes. They'll both kill you very slowly, right? They're the same product, right? But again, marketed in very gendered ways, and are using kind of the same ideas about what a man is and what a woman is, right? The man is outside doing tough, rugged, dangerous things, smoking his cigarette. The women, she's paying a lot of attention to her appearance, right? To her slimness, to her body, but also to her fashion, right? She's very fashionable, very elegantly dressed, or at least elegantly dressed for 1984, which is probably probably when this ad is from. Okay, we're out of time. That's all I have for you. Tomorrow, come back and we'll talk a little bit about movies and television, okay? Movies and television tomorrow.